Hi, it's Non-Gone, and we're still playing Death Stranding 1 on the PS4. This little bonus content, I literally just a couple of minutes ago posted the final video of my Speed Platinum sub 24-hour run, 21 hours and 55 minutes. It's an improvement of almost 24 hours on my old time, which had always bothered me, and I'm very proud of the run. I'm very glad that it's over. But I kind of wanted to do one more little victory lap through this beautiful, beautiful game, and I realized when I was thinking about it that I spent all this time talking to you guys about where to go and what orders to take and what to watch out for. But I never actually talked about the path to drive on or walk on or zip line or what methods of transportation are the easiest or most convenient for the situation. So we're going to talk about that. I know I did cover it a little bit on some of the areas, but we're going to be completely full. I'm going to show you how to connect and go to all of the different areas with all the tips that I know. And if you have faster or better routes or ways, please share them in the comment section. I'm sure I'll play this game again. So without further ado, let's get started. So I don't want to be in too much of a rush here. I really enjoy the game, but I also know that's not good for YouTube, so I'll try and keep it a little bit limited and a little bit quick. But this is a warning. This will be a rather bit of a longer, more relaxed video than the Speed Platinums have been thus far. First thing we're going to do, we're not going to do the prologue area. We're not going to do the western region. They're both linear and don't have much going on there. We're just going to stick to the east region and the central. In the east region, we've got 7 facilities and the incinerator that we'll have to deal with. There's 2 ways I found to get to the incinerator. The first one's from Capital Knot. You just stay to the left of the river. Igor will have placed a handy ladder here that stays the whole game. Thanks, RIP Igor. And then look for this little nook right here going up the hill, and he's got a climbing anchor and another ladder for you there too. Take you right up to the front. Only problem is there's a BT area right in between on that route, so we'll cover the second one later. As for the preppers, you're going to probably want to take the same route every time you do it, whether it's foot, bike, or eventually I encourage you to put zip lines here. From Capital Knot, just put one right out here outside of the building as soon as you can. Go 300 meters down. It's about 3 rivers to cross. And put one right about in here. And then the third one, you want to be a little bit up. Look for a little flat spot on the crest of that mountain there. If you're too low, you'll hit BT areas. And if you're too high, you'll waste your time climbing all the time. From there, you should be able to connect to your previous one and then still see the river down below, which is where your 4th zip line will go, somewhere in there. And then the 5th one right by the way station. So now those are connected. Going south, you want to go 1 down here. It should be right up on the path by the mule camp. That'll come in handy for some fetch quests later. And then 1 more about 300 meters down, wherever you can stick it. And then the next one should be right up in front of the Ludens fan. You can grab his lost cargo right below him to get him on the network, and then put a zip line there. From there, carry on. 2 more stops will take you to the Distro Center, and then put a 3rd one in front of it. You will have to put 1 zip line location in the BT area, but at least once you do it, you won't get attacked by BTs anymore. So there you go. As for the incinerator, behind the Ludens fan, right here, this little hill, is the second area that you can go up. If you just run right up behind there, there's a little drop, a little crevasse here in the mountains, and it'll bring you in the back side of the incinerator. That's great for the memory chip post game, and there's no BTs that way. So pro tip there. Anyway, we got down to the Distro Center. All we got left is Musician, Wind Farm, and Port Knot. To get to the Musician, I advise just straight zip lines again, 300 meters down, 300 more down, right to the edge of the waterfall here. And then once you do his fetch quest and get him on the network, you can put one right by his doorstep, and that one's done. The Wind Farm itself is going to be a hybrid solution. I wouldn't put zip lines all the way up there. It's just a waste of bandwidth. But if you take a truck up there, you can get all the way to the little pass here in the hill when the wind starts. And if you put a zip line here and then upgrade it with, gosh, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'll put a graphic up there of the materials to bring with you, then it'll give you an extra 25 meters. You can sneak around the side if you want to avoid BTs. You can go right down the middle. And then if you put another zip line right here down in the middle, you can connect it to the upgraded one that you had. That extra 25 or 50 meters will make all the difference, and you can just zip back and forth. Also, from the Distro Center, there's a river that has red water. If you're using your Odra deck, do not drive or walk in red water, or you'll be swimming and losing your cargo. If you go south, there's a little spot here where the red goes away. There's also a tutorial mission on how to build a bridge right here, so maybe do that, and then you don't even have to worry about it. So And sometimes the game will spawn one eventually for you too. So there you go. So that's the wind farm. As for Port Knot, really the only thing to do, there's only one path. You got to drive up and under this area through the BT area. I mentioned in my run a strategy for BT is called the oof ouch my bones strategy. And it is faster than trying to dodge BTs. You basically just drive up, keep all your stuff in your vehicle. As soon as you get caught by a BT, get out of the vehicle before it pulls it down, and then let them throw you around like a rag doll to bring the catcher up. If you're on easy difficulty and you have about 5 grenades, you could kill the catcher. If not, you could just run until the tar runs out. Either way, it'll clear the whole area for like 10 minutes, and you can just carry on. But other than that, you get through the hole in the saddle, come down to Port Knot, the East region is done. So moving on to the central region, it's a lot bigger, but we'll try to cover it quickly. You're going to start at Lake Knot, and I mentioned this also in the run. It's very important to put resources into pavers. Make sure you do the standard or the order for Sam. That's the tutorial on road pavers. And then just keep putting at least chiral crystals, metals and ceramics if you can, into these roads. Eventually, the game will actually give you a road all the way down, probably halfway to the first distro center if you just put a little bit into it. So I've never had a run where that first part didn't happen. Even if you don't, you can follow the place where the road would be. There's like a little tan line there that'll eventually end up there. And so if you follow that road, you'll go right past the engineer. That's the easy part. It'll take you kind of to the right and then to the south, and that'll be right by the craftsman. So you can get him from there. Just north of him is a fellow named Peter Englert. And there's no BTs or anything, so however you got to do it, whenever you have a pizza delivery for him, you could either go north from the Craftsman or west from Lake Knot and just drive or walk or whatever you got to do to get up there. There's no danger. Straight line is just fine. You don't have to put zip lines. Now, as you can see, my game still has not built more road from this point, and this is usually what ends up happening. So you're going to have to learn how to drive to the distro center from the end of this road. And what I like to do is just go right up this little area here, head almost up to where it becomes mountains, and then start heading across. You will come across right before you get to the other distros, the distro center 1. You will come across a river that is red. Don't try to do it. It is deep there. You have to go downstream a little bit to where you got this little island, and then you can drive across there. And then once you start wearing a path, you can take that path back and forth all the way. There's no BTs, just a couple of little terrain issues to worry about. While we're talking about that path, somewhere along here, you're going to want to put a zip line eventually to get up to the Elder. When you first do the game, they have you running up the mountain on the north side, and you can continue to do that throughout the entire game. It's fine. But if you need to get there quick, put a zip line here, and then head up to this little peak right here behind the Elder, and that'll connect to that zip line. So from that point forward, you could just drive your truck or your bike or whatever to the zip line, zip right up, deal with him, and come right back on down. And that covers, let's see, Lake Knot, Engineer, Elder, Craftsman, and Distro Center. We're all the way down there. So the southeast portion of the central region has 9 preppers, if you count the way I count, which is including the veteran porter. I'm not going to go through from to each of them. We're going to do 3 main routes, and hopefully that'll help. No zip lines here, just only driving or walking or triking, whatever you got. So the first main route starts at the distro center that you're at and heads north over the top of the mule camp that's here. It's a little hard the first time to drive over this little rock at the end of the crevice, but after about 2 tries, you'll get a nice little path worn, and you'll be around all the mule camp stuff. From here, you could go straight through that little red area to get to the film director, and from him, you can actually drive up the backside of that mountain with really no interference and head right past the engineer and back onto the road to get to Lake Knot. There's a huge time delivery from film director to Lake Knot. That's the path you want to do. But generally, you're going to be going south from there. The junk dealer is down on this side, right past the spring, and you can just go that way and shortcut the film director if you want as well. From here, you want to head straight south to get to the chiral artist. Don't go directly there because there's a BT area there, but if you go straight south to the lake and then head left, you should be okay. From the chiral artist, if you would like to continue on to South Knot, and you will for a couple of deliveries, just follow the lake around. There is a BT area there. You may get caught. The BTs are in fixed locations, though, so you can actually memorize where they are and drive right through them, even with a slow truck. And that gets you to South Knot with the first area. The second main area starts at Distro Center and goes to South Knot as well, but it stays on this side of the big crack in the map. And if you head straight south here, you can kind of wiggle your way through, even with a truck. There's a little area to pop up on this little hump right here, and then you will come across the collector. You'll need a ladder or climbing anchor to get down to him. He's kind of up under the cave there. From here, you can get up and go directly south here. There's a little area that you can squeak in between the mountains, and that will take you to the cosplayer. And from there, if you stay on the north side of that with your vehicle, you can kind of head up this little area here and stick to the mountain ridge until you get to this paver right here. By going left, you will cross over to Mama's Lab and then onto South Knot and avoid all the BT area and all that collapsed highway. So that's how you get there through route number 2. Route number 3 goes from the Distro Center to the weather station and then onto the Timefall Farm. And for that, I just pop out to the riverbank, and you can stay on the western riverbank for 2 or 3 pavers until you get to this little island right here. And there's usually a safe house and maybe a bridge there. And from there, if you go straight up to the weather station, you can drive up there in anything. There's like a little, I don't know, chicane there that'll get you up there. You don't have to get caught in all the BT areas and all the stuff that's going on to the north of there. You don't get stuck by cliffs, which is what happens if you go south. Not that cliff, just regular cliffs. And then you should be able to just drive right up the hillside and be to the weather station with minimal damage. From there, Timefall Farm's pretty easy to get to. You just go straight south and drop down, and you can see it from miles and miles away, so that's not bad. If you stay up to the right, you can get to the Veteran Porter going this way, or from the Timefall Farm, just drive up there. He's right up there on the mountainside. And so that's pretty much it for the eastern half. If you have to go from Timefall all the way up to Lake Knot, and you have to do a pizza delivery and some other stuff, just put those routes together, right? Just head up to the weather station from the Timefall, and then go backtrack along the riverbank to get to the Distro Center, and then from the Distro, follow your little path that you've learned to get back to the road where it ends, and finish up by heading on up the road to Lake Knot, and you'll be good to go. And so that's about half of the central region, the eastern half. The other 14, I think, locations are in the western or up in the mountains, and they require a little bit more ingenuity. But first, we got a couple of different ways we can get up into the mountains. First is the first route that you will take for the story, which is through the other Distro Center, the way station, and all that stuff. So let's cover that first. From Distro 1, just head back up to the road and then across to the Craftsman. From the Craftsman, if you stay north and look for this little rock with the crater lake on the right, you can slip in between there and avoid the BTs, and then follow the path where the road would go, or the road itself, and it will branch off to the left and take you up this little crack in the hill to get to the way station. Piece of cake, no problem. When you're continuing on from the way station, head right back to that spot and follow the same thing with the road. It'll take you past the incinerator, and then you want to keep going behind the little thing in the incinerator, pop up there, head to the left of the crevice, and it will drop you down in this little area above the mule or terrace camp, and you can stay right to this side and basically just drive straight unencumbered to the second Distro Center. If you have to go fast, you could drive straight through that terrace camp, but I would definitely advise doing that when you don't have fragile cargo. From the Distro Center, head south and follow the road until you get to this lake, and then head to the right of that and go basically straight south, and eventually you will come to the Novelist Sun. The one river you cross does have some spots of red, so be careful there. From Novelist Sun, head south and follow the river and cross just below where the two rivers join here. And then you can head straight up into the hilly area here to get to the photographer if you need to. And then from here, we're going to drive up the hill and into Mountain Knot City. Keep the river on your left and the mountains on your right, and you'll come to a place where you have to cross just north of this little joint of the river here. There's a lot of red water going on, and it takes a while to cross. If you get lucky and get a bridge, that's great. If you want to build one, that's great too. Just keep in mind, there are BTs south and terrorists north, so you kind of got to stick right here. Anyway, once you get across that river, just keep the river on your right and drive up the hill till you get to the second little flat spot right here. You'll see a gap in the mountains across the river. You can cross right there, head left, and then wind your way up through these little mountain peaks, turn left and right, and eventually you'll drop in just to the north of Mountain Knot City and be where you needed to go and up into the start of the mountain area. The second one is what you're going to basically want to do the next time you have to go up into the mountains, and that's when you're on a trike with Mama on your back. And this starts basically at South Knot. It's at Mama's lab, but close enough. From here, look for this little busted section of highway, and then go down the hill. You can cross the river here, but be careful trying to go fast because it will use a lot of battery. You can head just north of the mule camp here to stay out of their clutches, and then head for this little gap right here as you're going up. You'll probably need to charge your battery about right here before you get out of network. And then make for this little area right here where this little crest that goes over here that's got still white snow on it. And from there, you could reach the roboticist. And then from there, you just head basically up this little area behind the roboticist and down the hill until you get to Mountain Knot. So that's part 2. If you're doing this in the story, and I mentioned this during my run, this is a good time to start putting zip lines in. Take one with you because it's all you can carry, and put one up right behind the roboticist when you get around the network. And then right at that crest of the hill, right here, you want to put a second one, and that'll connect the roboticist eventually. So that's the second route to Mountain Knot. Later on in the game, it may be conducive to take a third path, which is going to be up to the geologist. And that would start also from South Knot, head over to the broken area, cross the river just like you did. And then when you get past the first mule camp, head left and go to the Timefall farm if you need to go there. From there, drive up the hill to the veteran porter, and then right behind the veteran porter, it is a straight shot up here to the geologist. So just keep that in mind if you need to. That would be path number 3 to get up into the mountains. There are, of course, other paths, but those are the 3 we use the most. And so that's fun, but now we got to connect the 10 preppers up here that are in the mountains, and we're going to do that with zip lines again. So this is the second main place that we're using zip lines. And I covered this pretty specifically in the earlier videos during the run, so I actually will kind of, sorry, pardon the pun, zip through this one as fast as I can. When you're first doing the story between Mountain Knot and the doctor and stuff, this is a good chance to do like your first 10 or 11 as you're working your way up the mountains. Put one right up here on this little hill outside of Mountain Knot City. Eventually you can put one right down by Mountain Knot City if you don't want to walk up there every time. And then one right by the doctor when he comes on the network. This little snowy ridge behind Mountain Knot is a great place for another one. So that'd be 3. And then this little area with the BTs on it, you want to get it as close to the high snowy peaks as you can. So that would be 4. Head up there, and right here at the snowy peak, you'll be almost exactly 300 meters away from the last one you put in, and you'll have a straight shot to the Mountaineer from there. So that would be 5 and 6 once the Mountaineer gets on the network. From there, you want to put one on that little rock peak up there, see, behind the Mountaineer. That'd be 7. It's almost always there is someone already put there for you, but if not, when you're going up to the Spiritualist, make sure you get that. And then when you're doing the story, take enough PCCs, put one right here next to the Spiritualist, drive back into the whiteout and connect the 2 since you can't see anything. And you will have a full line all the way up to the Spiritualist. As you're heading up to Deadman's area, make sure you put another one right here. It's hard to see, but the first prepper's down the one side and the Spiritualist is on the other. And that will connect you up from Mountain Knot and Doctor all the way up to the first prepper. So that's your first line right there. All right, last segment, second half of the mountains. There's a building with a memory chip about 3 buildings above the hill from Mountain Knot. Put your first zip line right in front of that building. It should connect to the ones you've already made and still give you access going towards Hartman's. During the story, when you get to Hartman's and get on the network, put a zip line right next to the bottom of his stairs, and then backtrack up to this little crest on the hill, and you should be able to connect either in 1 hop or 2 hops to the one that you just put on the other building. It's a little bit tricky because it's not as much of a crest as it looks like. It's more like a little plateau, but it's not a big deal. We got plenty of bandwidth at this point. Just use 2 if you need to. When you're leaving Hartman's, stay at about the same altitude on the mountainside as the zipline you put at the bottom of his stairs. And about 200 paces out, you'll be able to put a zipline right here on the hillside going up towards this little peak up here. When you get to the geologist, put a zipline right on this little peak to the right. Again, you can come back and add one right in front of him if you want later on, so you don't have to walk there. and then backtrack up to this peak. If you're tricky and efficient, you can actually put a zip line here that will connect to the line going to Hartman's, the line that you put up a way long time ago going to the roboticist, and then the line down by the geologist. And now you've got all those people on. Only 2 more preppers to go. Woo! And the rest of this was described in detail in my previous videos, so I'll be pretty brief. Go about 270 meters down and put a zip line right here that connects to the one by the geologist on this little ridge. Head to the right towards the paleontologist, right where the line of chiral bandwidth ends. You want to put one about right here. When you bring the paleontologist on the network, put one right behind his little shop, and then go back up the hill and either to the left or to the right of the gap in the mountain, put one that connects up with everything else you just did. Heading past the paleontologist, the next zip line is about right here, a little bit south of where the Evo Devo would come in. And then you'll have to go down as part of the story and get her on the network. And you want to go ahead and put one right out here. This is another good one that you can upgrade for 240 chemicals and 480 special alloys. It'll help you when you go to connect it all up. That extra 50 meters really makes a difference. Anyway, walk back up to the crest of the mountain and connect the Evo Devo one to the one you just made. This is another plateau that looks like a crest, so it may take 2 hops. No big deal. Once you've done that, you've basically got a zip line that takes you anywhere you want in the 10 preppers in the mountains, and you will be very glad if you're going for Best Beloved or Great Deliverer, because there's a lot of hard deliveries and the terrain sucks. So that's probably my number 1 tip, is learn where to put these zip lines and put them in and connect them, even if it takes you a while. So that connects all the preppers and main locations. But for story reasons, there are 2 long runs that you're going to have to do outside of what I've already showed you. So I'm going to give you some advice on those. You'll get a delivery from Hartman's to the chiral relay at the very bottom of the central region. You will very much want a vehicle to make this run. So what I suggest you do is bring a trike down when you have to carry the bomb on your back, park it at the Evo Devo, walk back up to connect your zip lines, zip back to Hartman's, and then the trike will be at Evo Devo waiting to go. Once you get on the trike, it's a pretty straight run south. There's a BT area first, which you've already been to. Stay left on the hillside to avoid that. There's a mule camp or terrorist camp just south of that. There's a memory chip in the tent, and this is the best chance to get it, so you might want to just run right in. Either way, you get south of that. Just head right to the river, and the chiral relay will be right there. And then oof ouch my bones by the tar lake to get into the west region, and you're done. And so then when you come back from Edge Knot, the story is going to make you go all the way up through the map and all the way up through the other map, all the way to Capital Knot with some hijinks on the way. And you can actually get straight from the chiral relay to the Timefall farm without having to go through all the locations. Just follow the tar lake to your right. And then when you can't go any further, then just head straight north and you'll be at the back of the Timefall farm. There is 1 BT field with 1 BT along the shoreline. It's a golden one, so it's game over if he gets you. Keep that in mind. Make sure you save before you get into that. I drove all the way down here to show it to you, and then I don't think he was even here. But, you know, that's show business, baby. Either way, once you get to the Timefall farm, I'm pretty sure you know the routes going all the way back to Capital Knot. So that'll take you back to the end, at the end of the game, and the end of this video. And that is really it. That's all I've got for this. I'm a little sad to give it up, but you, of course, have tons and tons of other things that you can do. There's you got to climb some mountains to get some memory chips. There's some waterfall stuff, some cliffs. I deliver really enjoy delivering the last pizza delivery from the first prepper, because I basically just YOLO it right over the mountains. It's all downhill. You're only going to fall. So, you know, that's always fun, but I'll let you figure that out for yourself. It's a creative game. There's tons of different ways to do it. And if you're trying to go fast, you could probably even find faster ways than me. As for me, I'm finally, sadly, going to put this CD back in the case and move on to Death Stranding 2. I thank you all for watching, and thank you for bearing with me. I encourage anyone that hasn't played this game to play it. It's a beautiful game. There's so much that you can do, and it's so pretty. And I really appreciate everyone bearing with me through 2 full runs of this and Speed Platinum. So thanks again for watching. I will catch you in the next video. I'm going to do some Sekiro Stay Bad ones and then move to some live action for a little bit. And I will see you in one of those. In the meantime, stay bad, people. Non-gone is gone.